Here we go. We are live at Stanway Community Centre. Boom, 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 boom. Now, can everyone hear me? That's the question. Let's go to the settings. That's more like it. Camera is the right one. We are live. There we go. So if everyone can hear me, just let me know. But I'm going to be busy running the service, well, doing the mediumship. Lynda's running the service. So do join along. We're going to have some events here because it's the last one at Stanway Community Centre. So do say hello and I'll chat with you all later on the comments. Have a good evening, everyone. You're sitting in the congregation with everyone. They're all looking at me like I'm some kind of nut job. Thanks. Thanks, Donnie. Cheers for that. And hello, Karen. Good to see you. So everyone have a wonderful evening. You're sitting between two lovely ladies in the congregation because I forgot to bring a stand. So you're propped up in a chair. But have a wonderful evening, everyone. Oh, where's she gone? Are you quite all right? There's the gov. There we go. I'll keep the microphone angle just in case. Testing 1, 2, 3. At least the original setups loss is your game. You've got to take it. You know. The governor will be here in a minute, so I better start behaving myself. Oh, bless her. Got me water. Right. It's your show, love.
Thanks. Right. Better put my lippy on.
Can I have some? It's not my shade, it's not my shade. It's not the old screen.
Oh, so the tables for everybody's
Yes, yeah, gonna say it's been put to good use.
Oh, so if you moved everybody along or up or something.
No, I just yeah.
Okay. Right. Are we ready or are you just waffling or what?
I'm ready. It's your service. I'm just the camera.
Are we live?
We are live. I can hear you.
Yeah.
You didn't hear that at home.
Oh my gosh. Maybe I should have said every month that I'm closing down because all these faces from the past. Amazing. I've got a tissue. It's not going to do this.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you for coming and welcome to Lynda Rose Spirit Centre, the last one. Thank you. And I'll introduce our beautiful medium tonight, the Reverend Nick Brown. And he's from over my way where I live now. So I'm not going to waffle on too much because I know that we're going to have a beautiful evening with Nick. So firstly, I would just like to say, can you please switch your mobile phones off, please? I've got no information in front of me, not that I'm going to be able to see it anyway, I don't think. If you could just turn them off or put them on, oh, hello, Pat. Put them on vibrate, please, if you don't mind. What was that? Is it being naughty? Oh, dear.
Yes, mother.
So if we do have an emergency, which that would be sort of Lord, it'll be the last one that we have, and we'll have an emergency, but we won't really, will we? But the exits are where they're signed green. So around the kitchen there and the one you came in. Just go over to the healing book. I'm going to continue the healing book at home. So if you if you've got any concerns about anybody on the earth plane, then please put names down there, and your loving thoughts. If there's anniversary or birthdays of your loved ones in spirit, then please put that in the book, because it's really your thoughts. Even though you're writing it, it's your thoughts that go out, and that takes the healing out to where it's needed, and it also gives you healing yourself as well. So it's really good. Now, I can't remember what else I've got to do now, so I'm going to leave it over to you to open up in prayer, please, Nick, if you don't mind. Thank you. Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, friends, let's all join together for a moment as we open this evening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under your banner of love, of hope, and of friendship, to witness your proof and your truth that life is indeed eternal. As we place a blessing on this service and all those present, we ask for the veil to be lifted, and that all those that we love and thought we had lost could step forward and show that life truly is forever. And so we ask that the love and light of Spirit shine upon us all from now and evermore. Amen. Back to you.
Thank you.
There's only one. So.
Okay, so this is where we're going to raise the vibration. We're going to sing. We're going to sing Angels. We're going to sing Angels. I got to get another one from that. Just any little writing. So we're over to Andy, who's going to do it. So if you'd like to be standing, raise the roof off, please, because this is the last time we're going to be doing this.
Does an angel contemplate my fate? There we go, my big fault. So when I'm lying in my bed, thoughts running through my head, and when your love is dead, I'm loving angels instead. And through it all, she offers me protection, a lot of love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. Down the waterfall, wherever it may take me, I know that life won't break me. When I come to call, she won't forsake me. I'm loving angels instead. I'm feeling weak, and my pain walks down a one-way street. I look above, and I know I'll always be blessed with love. And as the feeling grows, she brings fresh to my bone. And when love is dead, I'm loving angels instead. And through it all, she offers me protection, a love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. And down the waterfall, wherever it I know that life won't break me when I come to call. She won't forsake me. Boom, 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 boom. I'm loving angels instead.
Come on, get those hips going.
Swing your hands.
Yeah. Get those weights rolling.
Through it all, she offers me protection, a lot of love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. Down the waterfall, wherever it may take me, I know that life won't break me when I come to call. She won't forsake me. Boom, 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 boom. I'm loving angels instead.
Well done, everybody. That song reminds me of my daughter. And my daughter was, I served Nick's church Thursday, it was last Thursday, wasn't it? And I'll just share this quickly with you. I was going to a lady at the back, and there was a friend there who connects quite well with my daughter, and I was going to the lady at the back, and the gentleman that was trying to come through for her was very slow. And my friend said to my daughter, "Help your mum out." So in jumps Petra, my daughter, and she's like, and I'm going, "No, not yet, Petra." And she's nagging me in my ear, and I'm saying, "No, Petra. Seriously, this is serious." No, I'm saying no. Now, a lot of people here knows my Petra and know what she's like. Once she gets in her head, she's going to do something, in spirit or not, she's going to do it. So she tried to mess about, didn't she? But anyway, I got her to calm down, and then she gave a message. There was a message for her from Esther, but Esther my friend has had her all day with her, and yes, and they were they'd gone to college, and they were looking for a place for Esther's daughter, and she kept saying, "No, she's not nice. No, she's not the right person." And that's how she was with Esther. So my daughter has not changed since. We are closer, but she's not changed. So just that is, to me, that is so much proof. I know she works with me, but that is so much proof that our loved ones have gone nowhere. They're with us, they're beside us. They are not going anywhere. It depends on their personality as to whether they're going to come through and do whatever they want, because that's how she was when she was on the earth plane, or whether they're going to stand back and let others come in. So with that, and I'm pleased to be able to share that with you, because I know a lot of you here knew my Petra. And I'm going to pass you over to Nick. And I know you have an amazing evening, and it's such a pleasure to have Nick here on my last evening here. Okay, and please speak up loud, because that brings the vibration up, and speak to Nick. Well, he won't let you not speak to him anyway. And just don't feed him, all right? Best not feed him. Just let him give you the information, and he'll ask you now and again whether it's right or not. So, okay, so I'm going to leave you to the lovely Reverend Nick. Over to you, lovely.
Shut up.
9:30.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, say a few words first.
Yes, please.
Excellent. Well, for the first time this week, and in more than one time zone again, so I'll be wrong somewhere. Good evening, friends. Oh, You've obviously been training them well. Well, friends, good evening, and thank you for putting up with me and inviting me back to apologise for the first time. This is my second time serving your wonderful congregation, your wonderful church, and you know what? I've got to say it. In the many different roles in which I'm involved in this way of life, it's always heartbreaking to see any centre or church closing. But you then have to look deeper at the reason behind it. And it is, of course, because Lynda's starting a new adventure and spreading her wings and doing what she needs to do for her as an individual. And of course, Spirit will have a hand or two in that. Trust me, they always do. But it's nice to know that the reasons are not the really negative ones like they have been for so many other churches in this way of life. And I am sure that Stanway will continue in some way to fill the village with Spirit, because that is what it's all about, coming together. We come together tonight to celebrate the world of Spirit. We come together every time we meet to celebrate the world of Spirit. And of course, in one of my roles, I'm going to say it now and embarrass you, Lynda and I have been discussing the potential of her being ordained. So keep on at her and get her to say yes. But seriously, the progression of Spirit is the most important thing, and we each and every one of us do that in our own way. And it's important to carry on that journey of connecting with Spirit, working with Spirit. But how do we do that? If only Esther were here tonight, she'd be rolling her eyes now, because she'd know what I'm about to say. Just be kind and just be nice. That's the first step. That's all Spirit wants us to do. Be helpful, be kind, be considerate, be courteous of other people's needs and feelings. And that is all Spirit want for us. And then, of course, you sit in circle thinking that's all they're ever going to want for you, and then find out that they've got plans for you. But that's life. Life is change, and change is life. When it comes to what I'm going to be doing tonight, of course, the mediumship, the connecting, the working, of course, Lynda has quite rightly said, don't feed the medium. I usually follow that up with, because he'll bite your hand off for doing so. So yeses, nos and don't knows are all I need to know to see whether I'm going in the right direction or need to make for one of those exits that Lynda pointed out. I tend to behave physically like the individual coming through in Spirit. I might start changing the way I'm walking, changing the way I'm using my hands. Don't worry, I don't start floating and flying all over the place. That hasn't happened for at least 12 months. But I do tend to pick up mannerisms from the person coming through. So you might notice that, and that's an extra piece of information coming through for you. But really, seriously, my friends, well done for all you do here, and well done to you for making the change for your personal health and well-being. Because do you know what? I think that's the one thing we forget in this way of life. It's dangerous to become obsessed with Spirit. They're not the be-all and end-all, because you are the living Spirit. You are here to live, to love, to laugh and to learn. And you can't do that unless you're living your actual life. So there's always a danger that we become so obsessed. And I did it myself. I'm not going to deny. I linked in on day one and didn't link out again for about 5 years. And do you know what? It did me harm. I burnt out. Because we are here. And, you know, I'm sure Lynda has said it. Other mediums have said it. We're all here to learn lessons. Well, we can't learn lessons if we're always in the classroom, because as we all know, life is what teaches us, not a classroom. So my advice to anyone is always live your life, because it's those memories, those shared experiences, those events that spirit come back to remind you of. If you haven't got any, what are you going to be reminding of the next generation when they are sitting in your place? So live, love, laugh, and be happy. When it comes to being happy, of course, the way I work, I do like to work with humour. So I don't take myself or anything too seriously, in spite of the fact that it says rev there. It's usually the rev of an engine, which we've had a couple tonight. But life shouldn't be serious unless it needs to be. So to that end, if I do have a serious moment, it's only because I'm supposed to by spirit. Other than that, let's have a giggle, shall we? Let's keep the vibrations lifted, have a laugh, and see how our loved ones in spirit can embarrass us, because they do like doing that too. But I think that's all I need to say regarding how I work and all of that jazz. So you know what, let's get down to it and see who's about. Thank you. As I link in, I'm made aware of a female energy stepping forward. As she steps forward, I know that she would have been a mother figure. And I'm also aware that she would have stood just around about the same height as me, if not a slip either way. And I know that she's got this wonderful wavy blonde hair as she comes forward, because I can feel it tickling my face. And it, you know, I always wanted to have long hair, but I never had the patience for it because it would have annoyed me. So I know that she had this full blonde head of hair. And as she steps forward, I know that she didn't make a great age. I would say late 50s, early 60s at the absolute latest. As she steps forward, I know, thank you. Long time since I felt that. I know that there is a condition of the chest that would have affected her greatly, and I'm also very much aware that I love the hall, but I can't stand the heat. It's too hot in here. It's too hot. And so I know that she would have suffered from perspiration of the lip and the forehead when it got a little bit too hot, but it never stopped her. It never held her back from working. And I know this mother figure is coming through to someone tonight to give them a right royal kick up the bottom, because that's how she's that kind of woman. You know, she would have been loving, caring, emotional, uplifting, but she would call a spade and tell you when you'd got it wrong, and she would call a spade when someone else had wronged you, and give you guidance and advice on how to fix it. Does anybody understand this lady as I come through with her? Well, that's a good start. I've got me no out the way, ain't I? At least no one can accuse me of Googling or mind reading. Yeah, if I was a mind reader, I'd be in a casino, not a mediumship, damn it. Right, let's see where I'm with this. I mentioned the phrase mother figure. Usually when I use that phrase, it's because they were a mother figure, not necessarily an actual genetic mother. So there would have been that behavior, that attitude, that feeling of who she was. Show me where you are, darling. And would you understand that she passed way too early, like late 50s, early 60s at the most? Or she was young for her age? She didn't seem to age. Okay, may I work with you just to... Thank you. You would understand that description about the swift kick would be what you'd be expecting if she walked in the room right now. Well, she has, so get it. And it's that bluntness about her that I'm feeling. She was very blunt. You'd understand that. Well, she still is. So good luck to us all. And I do know that she would have not had a problem standing up and speaking in front of a group of people, because as she comes through here, you know, you can always tell when they're linking with you. It's like you suddenly get this overwhelming feeling of, look at all these people looking at me. I don't like this. I don't like this. And you can get caught up with it. But no, she's really reveling in it. She would have enjoyed holding, and I've got to use this phrase, holding court. Thank you. You would also understand with this lady, I mentioned the chest as something, not necessarily that took her, but something that was chronic, I would say. Okay, usually for me it would either be the heart or the lungs. Thank you. As she oh, hello. Started already. Usually takes a couple of messages before they start getting me change it. She didn't like my glasses. But they like to get me swapping my glasses. These are my reading glasses and I can see you better already. Weird, but there you go. So she would have been a kind of lady who was very set in her ways, liked things, and would be quite obvious and open when she wasn't liking something. And she had, I want to say, the way she's feeling with me, she had her own style. Thank you. As regards to the, I'm allowed to swap back now. As regards to the kick that you might be expecting, come closer, darling. It's all right. She just showed me that she was about to walk out the door with a frying pan. So I do feel that she'd have let people know if they were annoying her too. How rude. Where's my frying pan? So, but she would have joked. I don't think she would have ever actually used it, but she was someone who was a threatener of, you know, I will sort you out. When it comes to what I was talking about with that energetic spiritual boot, it is of encouragement. It is of upliftment. And, you know, she's telling me that your energies have been somewhat low. And it's almost like you're sitting there feeling like you are lost for direction, lost for purpose, and you know what you want to do, you're just struggling to figure out how to actually make it happen. And what she's saying to me is, but you do know what to do, you keep putting it off. You know exactly, because everyone, oh here we go, she's on my side. Everyone's been telling you, everyone's been giving you the advice, everyone said how to do it, you know yourself how to do it, but you just keep putting it off. You're afraid, and it's okay to be afraid. Fear can be healthy when it doesn't control you. It's called caution, it's called safety, it's called steadiness. She was very cautious, she was very steady, she was very stable, and this is what she wants to bring to you, that underlying wealth of strength that she is, to help you. Okay, I'm reminded there's a phrase, I have no choice, something that would be very prevalent in your mind from time to time. People only say that they have no choice when they're trying to console themselves with the decision they've already made. Oh, she was an over glasses starer as well, wasn't she? And actually, I noticed that with her as well, my hand isn't moving very, because anyone who knows me, I'm all over the place in more ways than one, but my hand isn't moving, so it feels like it's either being held in place because of a physical condition or a sling or something. There would have been something. Oh, so this is so she's just, you know, but I'm standing here, I've got another one moving about, I'm flapping my gob. Oh, thanks, that was her. I'm flapping my gob. You can still use everything else. Don't let one thing stop you, and it's not necessarily that we're talking about either. So please take her, support her, upliftment, her love. She says, excuse me while I translate this one. Get your rear out in the fresh air and start moving forward, because you light the room up when you smile, and it's not been nearly enough. And she understands. You know, it's been a good couple of years since you really felt like laughing from your shoes up rather than that pretend one to make everyone more comfortable from the back of your mouth. She's seen you do that too. But you get your feet on the road, you get your bottom moving forward, you'll be laughing from the bottom of your shoes up. So I'll give you all of her love, and I'll say thank you for calling out. God bless. Right, let's see where we're going next. When you're watching mediums work, they do really random, weird things. And one of the things that I do is jump from one side to the other. It's something that I've always done because it encourages spirit to keep everybody awake by it going to both sides of the hall. And one of the first things I was trained by another Lynn, but without the da. And it was with a Y. I knew I'd get it in at some point tonight. I did a poster for her once and I called her Lynda with an I, and I didn't live it down. So every time I introduce her now, it's Lynda with a Y. But yeah, my mentor always said, jump from one side to the other and encourage it by moving. The other thing I will say that I always forget until between the first and second message is that everything I rant and ramble about between messages is pertinent to the next person coming through. And I know this person liked to explain everything. I apologize. I also am aware that this person, because I can feel myself going on my tippy toes. No, it's not because I'm practicing to be wearing the sequin high heels at the weekend. I don't need practice for that. But I know that this person was taller than me. So a little bit taller than me because I keep wanting to go up. But my posture personally is very terrible. But this person's posture was very straight and formal and tall. And I'm standing properly. I'm a little bit taller, and I liked to explain things. Thank you. This gentleman is. Oh, hello. Thank you very much for that. I can feel sciatica kicking in as well, or it might be just because I was practicing my high heel walk. But I don't think so because that the way it came in. So I know this person would have suffered from physical conditions like sciatica, but would not have let it stop them because I'm still pulling the shoulders back and I'm still going forward. And this gentleman, as he comes through, he was he would look you in the eye. He didn't look around. He liked to make eye contact with people. And I know this fatherly feeling as it pushes forward would have been not always the easiest of relationships. It would have been strained at times because of his personality, but the absolute compassion that was within his heart always shone through. I'm also aware that, thank you, he likes the fact that I'm wearing a shirt and tie tonight, but I'm really annoyed that so I've got to do it because he won't talk to me if I don't smarten myself up properly. I've actually got to do my collar up because formality is a certain thing that we must do. And, you know, keep your tie straight, do your top button up. Looking smart and right and tidy is absolutely important. May I come to you? Would you understand this, gentleman? Thank you, because I'm aware that when I was talking about eye contact, I realised that he was directing me to you. If I may ask, which is the bit that you don't understand?
He wasn't always the smartest.
But he thought it. Yeah. And this is, once again, it's always about how they feel about themselves. And I do feel that some of that is to do with some of the strain in relationships with people. that sense of owning himself, and everything he said and did wasn't always completely aligned with everyone's views. Would you understand that? Thank you. May I work with you? Thank you. See, for anyone that was wondering, I don't just throw them out. I do go direct to when I'm told to. He's great to work with energetically. He's great to work with communicatively. He's great to work with physically, because I always love feeling taller and thinner than I actually am. However, things didn't always get said. And that's where I stand here as a medium, say, don't play that game with me. And I feel that that's the kind of thing that when you got to the point of strength and courage, that's the kind of thing you would have said to him. Because as soon as I said it to him, he was like, oh, not you and all. And it's because there is almost like two people with him as an individual. There's the bold and brash, and the I'll say it properly and I'll say it clearly, and then oh my god, oh no. And so he didn't like being challenged. No, he still doesn't. There are many. Oh, okay. Let's start on a positive note, shall we? There are many things that you have done and experienced since his passing. Well, before, but certainly since his passing, you've often wondered how he would react. Not that you are massively, okay, oh, hello. Not that you massively care. It's just the curiosity. I wonder what he would have said. Okay. The advantage of being in spirit is that we can see a bigger picture. Do you know what? Even when he apologized, he didn't apologize, did he? No. Because what he wants me to say, at least he's trying. I can see now where some of the things I said and thought and did might have been misconstrued. That's as close as you're going to get to I was wrong, I think, for at least another 1,000 years. But what he does see is the joy in your heart and how these things affect you. And that's what's changed his perspective. This formality with him, it's really quite frustrating. It feels good to begin with. It seems quite strong and powerful, but it's also very restrictive, and I know that would have caused a lot of difficulty as well. Maybe that's why you're more able to be happier and honest, because you're not as formal and restrictive as he was. And those were his words, not my observations. That's what he says. He's still... Don't start on that, please. He's not overly sure about the colour of your hair. Not overly sure. But interestingly enough, he's drawing me to your glasses because there's some similarity between... He likes them, and there's this familiarity with the shape. So I don't know whether either he would have had some that shape or someone close to him would have had some that shape. See, I've got to take them off to have a look, haven't you? Yeah. So you understand that memory link there. I also have to... oh, he did like diverting the attention when it got too emotional. Because there is an emotion with that memory link. And as I was trying to push it harder, he was like, okay, shall we do some dates and things then? And I was like, oh, he's been through before. No, it feels like he's been watching then, because he's trying to use the knowledge of how mediums work to divert away from the emotion. So he's obviously been watching at the very least. So he has been around you in environments like this, just keeping an eye, having a nosy, getting used to the idea, because he's, shall we do some dates and things, right? Okay. So he wants to remind you there's an anniversary, an important one in May, that would connect with you or him. And also, okay, what's that? Lovely. Okay. Because he keeps bringing my attention to the big trees out that huge window up the back there. And it's almost like that's a kind of a view that either he would have enjoyed or would have seen where he was. And it's something about the position of the trees. It's like wherever he was, he could see the tops of the trees, if not the full thing. Would he have been in a room, kind of like almost stuck in a room, or there's something about a view from a window that reminds him of towards the end of his life? So I don't know where that lies, but if you can have a think about that, don't think on it too hard, because it's hardly important. But it's just a little bit of it. It's after the service, come and stand right here and look out that window. That reminds him of a view. So it might help you remember where it's from. But it's just a little memory link there as well. I do have to say to you that he is... He is the kind of person that will do his absolute utmost to avoid emotion and say things that would be unexpected. However, he's come to realize that if he wants to move on, he's got to admit to certain things. And it may be, so it's for his benefit as much as anyone else's. This is why he's agreed to it, probably, because feeling that personality, that's the kind of, and that sounds a little bit harsh, but it's how he was. But he hopes that it will help you in some way, because there is a word stuck in the back of my throat and it really is struggling to come out. But he's put it there, so he's got to deal with it and allow it to come forward. And it begins with S and ends in Ori. That's his way of saying it without, and he would have done. He would say things without actually saying it. Be careful, because not in that kind of vein and not in that kind of. But you're very good at subtext. So be careful you don't... Oh, how dare you? Careful you don't end up like me, dear. But there is reason and genuine feeling behind the word sorry. Can't fix what I did in the past, but I can learn from it now. And I hope that that will be enough for you to begin with. And that came from my guide. So obviously he was being reminded there's still more to do and more people to say it to. In spite of all of that, there is a huge amount of respect and joy that you are your own person. So I will leave that with you and say, God bless you. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. Oh, it had to come eventually. Anyone got those earworms where you get a song stuck in your head and you can't get it out for love nor money? All day I've had pa-dum, pa-dum, I love it. It's been stuck in my head all day. And I was really, really chuffed, because all the way through since being here, it hasn't popped into my head until now. Earworms are important, apparently. Okay. That's important. Okay. Okay. Where am I going? I ain't told this story for a while. You keep hold of the flowers just in case. When I was first developing my mentor Lynn, she told us how she gave her first ever message and figured out where she was going. Anyone remember Dame Edna Everage? To the horror of the church president on her fledglings evening, from underneath her chair, she produces this rather long flower, gladioli. And she goes, where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? It's true. And then she threw it over her shoulder and started working. But being reminded of that and getting an earworm stuck in my head, whoever I'm about to come to, I apologise. Because this is going to be a bit of an adventure. Oh, okay. May I come to you? Thank you. Because whoever it is, and I'll be honest with you, this person is not that close at the moment. I think they're still measuring me up. Just steps forward with absolute humour and muck about to see how far I can be pushed. And thank you. As she steps forward now, I'm very much aware that that is what she would do. She would test people. She would measure people up. She'd wait and see. And you've got a very smiley face, but hers would be more. And she'd want to get to know someone and see how far she could go with them before she actually, oh dear, let rip is the phrase that she gives me. So, you know, reminding me of the gladioli and you get earworms as well. You'll be sitting there and all of a sudden there'll be a song in your head and that's it. It's stuck all day. I don't know whether this is how she would have done it exactly, but I'm inclined to do this. You're welcome. And it's almost like this stooped over and a little wave, not a big wave, not a huge, she wasn't a huge gesticulator like, oh, she liked her big words though. Not a huge gesticulator like I am. She was more discreet, and there's people used to call it her royal wave because it's almost like the Queen. And I can see from your reaction that you understand what I mean because you were the ones who said it. And she knows it. But there was, in spite of this way she wanted me to do that, it would be easy to be deceived that she was always restricted physically. But that's certainly not the case, because as I do that, I want to do the Bruce Forsyth thing as well. So she's really playing me about tonight, but that's how she was. She liked to bring laughter and love and humour, and she really, really does want to bring it to you tonight, and that giddiness, and remind you that the earworms aren't always songs. Sometimes, oh, here we go. Sometimes they're little poems or nursery rhymes, and they aren't always polite neither. And there is this, she comes across as butter wouldn't melt in the mouth. You look at her and you think, oh, you know, hyacinth bouquet at her best. But actually, not. Yeah, exactly. So she would have made these jokes and, you know, deliberately baited you because it was fun. And as much as it might have been a little bit frustrating to be on the receiving end at the time, it's very much missed now. Okay. Not backwards and coming forwards, because she just stood there and she says, why is she agreeing to missing me now? She knows I'm there. She knows I'm watching. She sees me out of the corner of her eye. She feels me sitting next to her, and she thinks I'm not there anymore. Oh, well, that's nice, isn't it? And is that real quite shirty, there was a phrase that came to mind that was given to me by my guide. And she did say, as he said it jokingly to her, if you share this publicly, I will come back and hit you round the back of the head. Because I don't think she was afraid of giving someone the slap on the back of the head when they deserved it. But my guide described her as a bit of a bruiser from time to time. Thank you. She's really coming forward because obviously I know tonight is about change at its core. And I know that there's a lot going on with you above and beyond today. It's almost like tonight being the last one is, an addition to these changes. She experienced a lot of change in her life, and for all the joking and mucking about, there was a lot of difficulty and seriousness and suffering. She never ran away from change. She embraced it. She loved it. She reveled in it, and she went for it with the jugular. Please, 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 my dear, she says. Please, 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 my dear, don't give up. Keep fighting and embrace change. She could also be hypercritical too, because she's drawing. I do apologise, but you know her better than I do, so I'm sure you expect it. She's drawing me to the wonderful flower that you've got on your chest. And she's leaning in and she's sniffing it and saying, oh, well, never mind. So she would have expected something more real. And she really did spit that out. So when she was making a point, she was a bit of a bruiser. And she would let it be known. But she does it in part as joke, even though she wasn't always joking. She did come across as joking to soften the blow. However, whether you knew it or not, I truly do love and respect you. And you made a huge difference to my life. You got that? Okay. So this is why I shouldn't have put this here, in it. She's caught me out. She needs you to know that. You always hoped and you always wondered, because she wasn't always the best at getting all soppy. That was always your job, love. But she means it. And I can tell you she means it, because it was as guttural and gut-wrenching as one of her milk-curdling screams at the old boys walking past the window. And she just wants you to know that even though I couldn't always say things, it didn't mean that I didn't feel them. She's gone all sultry again now, because she was sultry. She says, well, imagine how much joy I felt in how much weight I lost when I became a being of energy. Because she was always whinging about that as well. But she wants me to remind you of the fun times, and that change isn't always bad. And you've got so much more to do. And you know what? I'm going to be 2 paces in front of you and 3 feet behind you. every step of the way. So I'll give you her love and I'll say God bless. You're really not going to make me do this, are you, darling? Yes, she is. She says it's lovely that you came out tonight and she's really, really pleased that you did, but it would have been nice if you'd have finished the washing up properly. I'll say God bless. She knows. And of course, in her particular style, now so does everyone else. Right. Okay. Can't see where I'm going yet, so let's have someone, please. Thank you. Oh, hello. Oh, it's really weird when you get someone shorter come through and they just step in like that because they just went, whoop. Okay, so I'm about this height now. And he had bad knees and all, although they're probably mine. So, gentlemen, around about this height here. Now, he was a right firecracker. And he knew it, and he was honest because he just says, well, that's a nice way of putting it, I suppose. And he's turned up tonight, and he is properly dressed for the occasion, to be fair. And he's wearing a suit, although I would say that it's probably not the newest suit because it looks like it could be a little bit small. And I can feel my sleeves going upwards, so I would say the sleeves were probably a little bit shorter than they should be, so it was a bit old. But it was still comfortable, and he, as much as he liked to look smart when he was out on a special occasion, he didn't like change. He liked his home comforts, his creature comforts. This gentleman, as he steps forward, I'm feeling a fatherly, grandfatherly figure. As he's coming closer now, I can see that he had a reasonable head of hair in spite of his age. He says, I lost a lot of things, but I kept my teeth and I kept my hair. I was happy to lose anything else. So he's got a sense of humor, and he's got these really, really, he's got glasses on, and they did magnify his eyeballs a little bit. So they were a bit beer bottle. That's the phrase, isn't it? Beer bottle glasses. Yeah, beer bottle glasses. So he's got beer bottle glasses on. And you know what? As he stands there, now it's not him unless there's a relative of the gentleman in the building tonight. But there is a look of Norman wisdom about him. It really, really is. And there is a little bit of humor with him, but I do know that he was quite serious about most things. But when he let his hair down, he was a good joker, so you're allowed. Can anyone understand this gentleman? No. Okay. I'm also feeling with this gentleman, there is a problem with I'm feeling something on the top of my head, so I don't know whether it would have been inside or outside, so an injury or an internal feeling with this gentleman. But as he steps closer, thank you. Where are you going? I do feel drawn to you. Yeah. There is no one in your past who would kind of fit this description. If you take away the suit, because it wasn't very often, would you understand everything else? Thank you. He's dressed up for a special occasion. It's just that because he didn't dress up very often, he only had one or two suits that didn't really quite fit properly. But everything else makes sense to you, yeah? Okay, thank you. May I work with you? Thank you. You would understand the joy about the hair and the teeth.
Yes.
Because there weren't many in the family who didn't recede, but he did well. I wouldn't say it was perfect. It certainly wasn't the same for about 40 years. It did get less, but it was still manageable enough to look right in his view. And he wasn't a vain man, but he did take his appearance seriously when he wanted to. Thank you. As you know, I said earlier on that I prefer to be jokey and mucking about, but when I have to be serious, I will be. The reason he was talking about the beer bottle glasses and the eyes is because that was always a giveaway with him, because his eyes were somewhat magnified. It revealed his emotion, and he did get quite emotional, in his words, on special occasions. And it was almost like it was very obvious because his eyes stood out all the more. And so he's reminding me that even though, you know, people had their opinions of me, and he literally just puts his hands in his pockets there, and he would have stood like that, you know, people had their opinions of me, but I was still human most of the time. So there's the humor coming back. The reason he wants to come through with that as an initial volley is because, again, I believe there is some learnings with this gentleman going on up there, as it is for everyone. So that's a bit of a throw-out comment, but he's working on it. He's working on it. There was something with him that he would get very distracted. It's almost like I feel like a magpie because I'm standing here and I've been looking over there all night, and suddenly I'm actually paying attention to what's on the stool, and it's like he would get drawn and very magpie-like, and that meant that sometimes people thought he was drifting. Oh, here we go with the humour back a bit now, because he says, and I swear there was a few of them had a bag ready to catch the marbles as they fell out. Because he would suddenly go very quiet, and it was almost like he was distracted, but he was just lost in thought. It wasn't that he was losing it, in his view. It was just that he got more thoughtful as he aged, and he would spend his time reliving memories, and unfortunately not all of them are good ones. And so that's why he would drift off, and then the eyes would suddenly start look a bit red round the edges. Thank you for pretending not to notice, because you would give him the opportunity to process those thoughts rather than, oh, what's up, what's up, what's up. You learned very quickly to just let it alone, and it'll be all right. It'll be all right. It'll come back in a minute. And so he's very grateful for that. And that's an interesting memory to bring back, because I don't think I've ever heard someone say thank you for that before. But that just shows how different he was to most people's train of thought. That said, you're not getting off lightly, as you would expect not, because he's frowning at your arms. I don't think he would have necessarily approved, even though he probably had some himself. He still wouldn't have approved you doing it. Well, then he's a cheeky blinker, then, isn't he? But that's just his personality and his way of, showing it is me. there's something around you at the moment that keeps going wrong. I don't know, it's some piece of equipment or technology, or whether you struggle with technology or something, but there's something around you at the moment that just keeps going on the blink. And sometimes it's because the wrong button's been pushed, and sometimes it's just not doing its own thing. Would you understand that? You've got that, because he's just having a giggle about that, because he's saying, well, how do you think I'd have got on then? So he's recognizing the difference in how times are changing, and you're fine. Stop worrying, mostly. It really is all about going easy on yourself and just relaxing into things and not taking it too seriously. Because if he were to get wound up by one of it, because he did a lot of writing, didn't he? Because he's showing me with a pen and a notepad and he's scribbling away. If he'd have got annoyed with a pen and notepad and thrown it across the room, that'd have been, you know, maybe a chip in the wall, but then just go and pick it back up. But if you throw a tablet across the room because you're getting frustrated with it, it's rather expensive. So just take time. But there is a great deal of strength and support with this gentleman for you. He just wanted to come through and just say hi and just let you know that he was very, very grateful for your patience, if nothing else. I'll say thank you for working with me, and God bless you. She's still giving me that earworm, you know. I'm stuck with her. Bless her heart. Now that's random. Yeah. Okay. You're doing the same as you did before. Okay. Well, I'll be a little bit more strict. Sit down. No, she won't let me. I wanted to do a deal with her and save it till last, is the honest truth, but she won't let me. I know, Lynda. I've worked with Petra before, so I'm going to be honest about that. She does want. She would, of course, come through today. The reason, the way she came through, is she's having a bit of a dance, and she's in the jumpsuit jodhpur thing like she usually shows herself to me, because it's been sunny. Even though it was a bit wet, she wouldn't have cared. She'd have still carried on. She was the kind of oh, hello. She was the kind of person that I'm not getting annoyed and getting wound up. If it rains while I'm sunbathing, let it rain. I'm relaxing. Let it carry on. I don't mind. It's refreshing. And so she just wanted to use that as a way of saying something else that I've never given you before, basically, just by confirming that it's and that kind of personality. But as I was, your friend gave me the earworm as I was walking past here doing kind of like a really, really clumsy robotic dance. You remember, please, if the Secret Service ever watch this, don't come and find me and shoot me. It's documented. You know when Theresa May did that really, really bad dance, she's using that as he's saying, it's not just Theresa May that dances like that, is it? That wouldn't be you, would it, Mum? It's her, isn't it? She really isn't, wasn't that flexible, and because I actually saw that video today. Just you know how you're slipping through these social media things and little videos pop up. They occasionally make use of them for me with, you know, messages, and I was just reminded of this. But you know what? Even though it was pretty rubbish, she still enjoyed herself, and it was being real, being her, and not caring what people think, Mum. Because those that matter are on the same page. I can see by the love and compassion and everyone who's turned up tonight, these lovely people are on the same page. They get it. So give yourself a break. I don't have a beep machine, so I sniff. But give yourself a break, because you keep saying you're going to. You keep saying you're going to take the weight off. You say you're going to have a rest. You never do. So you're very good at giving other people advice, mother. You're very good at giving people advice, mother. So take some of it for yourself. And when she got confident, because she's feeling very, very confident now, because thanks, because if anyone gets a clout, it'll be me. She won't feel a thing. But when she got confident, I can just feel myself swaying side to side. It's almost like I'm skiing, that kind of hand motion. And I'm just getting really, really, come on, I'm on my flow now. Let's go for it and let's do a bit more of that. But she just wants to really bring the fun back in and bring the memories of joy, because you still sit when you're on your own and remember the negative, even though you tell all of these wonderful people that you help in their lives to think about the positive. We're still human. We still get bogged down with the negative. But if you remember the silliness, remember the daftness, remember the joy, I will be there whispering, screaming in your ear to remind you that you're doing what you need to do. With her, as she says that, I'm feeling very short of breath. And it's almost like when I had to say what was most important, I struggled, not because I couldn't say it, but because I was unable to say it. Doesn't mean it wasn't meant and it wasn't there. And this is, bless you. Okay, trying to be really serious now, but she won't let me, because she said, I've got to show you what she did. She says, well, the circles that my mother moves in, especially with all this spirit stuff, I've been sitting in circle with all of these fancy people up there, look, and I'm sitting here doing this, and I've become all very philosophical, mother, so I can give you good advice. And she's literally taking the mick. Oh dear. Has anybody got a JCB? But she just wants to bring that laughter back in. But she said, remember all of those wonderful philosophies and all of that philosophical stuff. Just because things aren't able to be said as clearly as they'd like to be, it doesn't mean to say that they're not meant, which is why we should always take the advantage to say them before it's too late. Even if it seems a little cheesy, which she definitely agree it would be cheesy, but she recognizes that you always did, because you were aware of the difficulties of life. And she regrets taking the mick out of that. She doesn't regret taking the mick out of philosophy, because she found that quite funny, especially me getting, she'd have been laughing her head off at me getting stuck. But she just wants to come to you and just say, take every day for what you can, say what you need to say when you need to say it, and don't ever wait. And as I'm making eye contact with you, there's this urge. It says, and you all need to hear that one too. Thanks. I really am quite sweet and innocent. I'm not as gobby as I come across. It's them lot that do it to me. Thanks, mother. And she's not formal at all, because I'm just that. This is exactly how she'd stand doing this, and it's the hand on the hip thing as well. Interestingly enough, there's something about the hands there, because I would normally do that, but she's making me do that. So I don't know if there was problem with mobility in the wrists with her at some point. There's something to do with the wrists being immobile. It's like she couldn't turn her hand the way she wanted to.
That might have been when she jumped off the bridge after that.
Right.
She broke all of that.
I see. So this is why I'm getting that restriction.
Yeah, it's a lot of restriction.
Thank you. Thank you. Never changed me dancing though, did it? Do take all of her love. You know that I'm going to be helping with everything you do. So you're stuck. God bless. Where are we going? I need a gladioli. Anybody got one? She's still got me. Oh dear. I'm going to be. Yeah, I know that much. I know that much. Thank you. Right. May I come to you? You weren't expecting that, were you? And this is the thing. I've noticed that earlier on I said everything that happens between the messages is pertinent to the person. And I realized that I was absolutely silent. And then I surprised you. So this is that kind of personality stepping forward. Someone who was, I wouldn't say formal or restricted, but quite discreet, and would have been quite calm and certainly not as nuts as I am, but would still like to catch you out. And certainly when it was just the two of you, you know, there was a completely different side of her. Thank you. Coming forward. I'm not getting a relationship feeling yet. I do know that I just simply want to swim. Here we go. She's schmoozing now. Isn't she got lovely eyes? Look at those eyes. She's got lovely eyes. So there's something about the eyes. After all I've said tonight, at least you know you're safe, and then I'm trying to hit on you. But she would have had that sort of naughty sense of humour as well, you know. And as she's getting used to me now, I'm getting a little bit more active, and I know that this is how she was with people. You see, she would have gotten to know people, and she would come across as really, really calm and quiet. And then once you got to know people, you could not shut her up. Would you understand? Thank you. Because I'm still not getting the relationship, and I think it's part of her. That's the word. Thank you, Gordon. Austere. There was an austerity about her when it came to people she didn't know, and she would come across as quite austere. But once you got to know her, oh my word. Yeah. Crackpot, but such a lovely lady, and so full of joy and beans, and just loved to see you smile. There were times she was lost for words, but not many. Oh no. She did like the occasional cheesy joke as well, because she says, I wasn't very often lost for, I was occasionally lost for words. I think it was a Tuesday. So, you know, once again, that humour, and there was a bit of self-deprecation with her humour, I have to say. She would make herself the butt of the joke from time to time, and that comes from something very deep-rooted within her. And that was something that she never really properly dealt with. Would you understand that? Would you also understand that when she was trying to give advice, oh dear. Yeah, thank you for that. I knew I could feel it coming because I could feel my posture changing. When she were giving advice, she could be quite brutal. Because if you know that I never dealt with my deep down issues that I really should have done, then why do you not do the same, young lady? I personally don't think yours are as deep rooted as hers are. There are things that you need to deal with, but certainly they haven't got the claws into you yet, dear. But that's how she began. So please learn from her. Oh, hello. She just said, not that I'm someone that wouldn't be good to take after, of course. And there is such this lovely fun with her, but I really wouldn't want to wind her up. But I've got to tell you, 25 years of mediumship, she's definitely the kind of person you want on your side. And for all the bravado, the joking and the mucking about, when you were in her circle, you were there. And again, it comes back to that eye contact. She could look you in the eye and say, I was always honest. And that, oh hello, bit of philosophy coming from her. In this world, that's a lot. And it really, really is. And she's so pleased that you are the same. You are. Look me in the eye. I can always say I was being honest. And you are exactly the same. And that's a good thing. You're a bit too discreet for her liking, though. You use kid gloves from time to time rather than brutality. But that's you'll get over that. You'll get over that. I hope not. Yeah. There's something to be said about being kind and courteous and gentle with people. Not. Thank you. Serious moment. She says, yes, there is a lot to be said for being kind and gentle with people. However, doesn't mean that you should be walked on. And that was her mistake. And she doesn't want it to be yours again. She was also a woman of very few words, because when she'd said a piece, that was it. She was done. And, you know, it's almost like you'd go into the room and when she was done, when she was happy and satisfied that the conversation was over, it's almost like she dismissed you. It's like she would have been a great headmistress. You know, Ladette to Lady. Have you ever seen that? Right, Google it, because there was this head teacher called Mrs. Harbord, and she was a bit of a badass, actually, but lovely lady, real kind heart, real gentle. Whenever someone came into the headmaster's office to be told off, she'd say her piece and then just look at them and go, "You may go." And this is her. That's her. It's like, you can go now. It's like, whether you'd decided that you wanted to stay another half an hour, you can go now, you know. It wasn't an invitation, it was an instruction. So I've just been given my instruction. You can leave her alone now, can't you? So I've been told I love working with her. She is honest to a fault, and it's usually everyone else's. But sometimes you can get people come through that beat about the bush and avoid the subject of the reason they want to come through. Never with this lady. I have to say, with her, I am getting one heck of a banging headache. And I'm not saying that to be rude. I think there was something there with her. So I don't know whether it was vision or something else, but I'm just getting a real horrible pain there with this lady. So I feel that she was the kind of person that would hold back from telling people what was wrong, though, in spite of the fact that she'd lecture you for not telling her what was wrong. Would you understand that? So there were things that she didn't tell people about health-wise, which facilitated her earlier than should have been demise. It's almost like she hid from things health-wise. Okay. Thank you. She really didn't care what she said, did she? 'Cause I'm sorry, but I've got to share what she just said because it's more like a joke now than evidence. She's, make your mind up. I either did or I didn't. And you know, that you can say what you like about me so long as you stand by it. And that would have been her personality. And that, above all else, is why she is actually remembered more fondly than she thought she would be. Thank you for listening and working with her. God bless you. Oh, let's see what we can find. There's bound to be someone hanging about. Let's see. Yeah, there is someone. It will be a quick one, though. As I connect with this individual, I'm being made aware that I am a lot younger. And I'm talking somewhere around here in height, age. This young man, as he steps forward, he's got a cheeky grin, a naughty smile, very toothy grin. My God, he was brave. And an absolute force to be reckoned with, because even though there were difficulties and he was aware of his physical difficulties, he still kept smiling as long as he could. Would anybody be able to understand this? Thank you. I did wonder if I was going to come to you. As he stands here, because he's been around all night. He's just been, you know, wandering around picking everything up and having a look at it, because he's a little bit nosy, a little bit interested, a little bit curious, and I'm enjoying looking at all this weird stuff. And it's this magic and interest in life, and he would never poo-poo anything out of hand without at least pulling it apart and trying to put it back together afterwards. And that's the kind of personality he would have had. So had he have lived a lot longer, I'm sure that you would have had, you know, pulled apart TVs and broken radios that would have been rewired. He does take after someone in the family for that, by the way. He's not saying who it is. As he stands here, he's showing himself wearing blue. So I have to give you that. Thank you. Do you know what? He was wise beyond his years. He had an old soul and his eyes showed it, because he just stood here and he said, you know, a lot of mediums avoid a youngster coming through because they think, oh, we haven't got that much information to give. I'll show you. And he's very forward about this lad, that he was always able, in spite of everything, to try and make a positive out of whatever was going on. I learned that from you. Because when he was in a bit of a paddy, boy, did he get his voice out there. Really, really loud and full of beans. He literally just wanted to be able to say, because he has been looking around this stuff a lot more than tonight. And he has been around. And he just wanted to be able to say, I was the last one. I was the last one in many ways. I'm going to leave his love with you because that's pretty much all he wanted to say, just to be reminded to mention the blue, because the blue was really important with him. The shorts and the T-shirt were virtually the same shade. Although as I look down at my feet, I'm aware that I've got either boots or trainers or something on, but there's a sock missing. I don't know. Thank you. There's a sock missing. There's one on that side, but it's not on that side. So you mentioned the missing sock. But he just wanted to be able to come through and say, been watching, been learning. Now it's over to you, your turn. Because I'll always be watching and listening. And when you're ready to talk, I'll speak. So whether you're developing or not, I don't know. But if you're not, get on with it. And he could actually be very brutal. For someone so young, he was actually quite blunt. Well, get on with it then. Would you understand that he would say that to someone very professional and formal? He'd bring them right down to his level. Yeah, get on with it then. Even in the worst possible situations, he was quite blunt and formal, and he surprised people with that, and it was part of his character and his charm, because he is a charming chappy. To take all of his love and his laughter, and try and wear some blue, will you? I'll say God bless you and thank you. And in fact, I will say God bless you and thank you to all of you. I hope you've had a good evening and God bless you all. Oh, and Nigel will think I've got a woman.
Thank you so much. What a brilliant evening. And thank you to all our loved ones that came through. Amazing, absolutely amazing, and very good proof there. Absolutely. You're so flamboyant that you just...
What do you mean?
Beautiful. Okay, so I haven't got my bit of paper in front of me, so I'm not sure what we're doing next, but I think, should we sing?
Yeah.
Do we do that next, don't we? I think. But we're going to anyway. So this is the last time I'm going to do this. I'm not going to walk around you this time. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to sing, or we're going to sing. I've just got to put my hand over that, I think. Love Can Build a Bridge. And remember that this is how we should be. When you're singing, think of the words. If you can stand, then do. Link with the people that are next to you, with you, and just pally up with everybody. And that's how we should be in life. So, thank you, Andy. We do the standing if you're able. If you're not able to, then no worries.
It's a bit bigger this time. What's that?
Yes.
Oh, spot the glasses.
Last time, this one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Let me walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet, to share with you the last life of bread I had to eat. I will swim back to save you in the seas of broken dreams. While your hearts are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine.
think it's time. I would whisper love so loudly, every heart could understand. That love and only love, and you're the strength of mine. I would give my heart's desire, so that you might see. The first step is to realize that all we can do, you and me, love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? And we stand together. It's our final hour. We can do anything, anything. And believe in the power can build a bridge between your and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Love can build a bridge between your and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Thank you all so much. Oh gosh, let me get myself together here. Okay, so we've got a few things that we're going to be doing here. I just want to say thank you for the flowers, from those that have brought the flowers.
This is not just for me and Liz, it's from everyone in the centre to say thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And it's not the end, it's going to keep going.
Thank
Lots of love. Lots of love,
Thank
okay?
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. I'll open it later. Is that all right? In a minute. Thank you. A few more tears, I think. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Well, I've got an announcement to make here, and I know I don't really know where to start, really. But so I just start with when I first started out with this venture of the Lynda Oldham Spiritual Centre, which was 11 years ago. And I just thought I just wanted to make a difference for people and help people. So I started at the Bellevue over in Colchester. That was the first one. And little old me started up with several friends. I didn't realise how popular it was going to be. So the Bellevue, if you know the Bellevue, there isn't much parking. So people couldn't get parked. So I really need to do something about this. So I found this hall, and it's been a blessing. This hall really has been for what I wanted to achieve here. And all I can say is that I feel this centre has helped so many people. I've had readers up there that are just starting out, that it's given them confidence. I've had readers up there that have platformed and they're still enjoyed, and they've all been volunteers. I've had kitchen people in the kitchen. Some of them are here this evening, helping out and on the door. And some people have been here because they needed the confidence to be able to communicate with people again. So it's not just the money coming in from the door and given to the charities. It's actually, I see it's helped so many people in many ways. And then the money that does come in, and I've always tried to keep it on donations as much as possible, because there are people that would never ever want to spend money on a reading, that would never have a reading, but it gave them the opportunity. And then when they gave, some people can't give much, and I appreciate that. But then those people, they would see that there was something in it. I've had stall holders that have come that wouldn't believe in any of this, and a medium's come to them and realised that there is something in this. So it has helped so many people, and I know that. It's not just me. I'm just the person that, if anything goes wrong, somebody comes to, and maybe the organizer. I'm not very good at organising, really, but I can't do it without the volunteers. That's one thing, and I've had quite a few volunteers throughout the 11 years. Some of them are here, and some of them are not. But I appreciate every one of them that have been here to help. And for yourselves that have come here, and I know that some of you I haven't seen for such a long while, but you know, you come when you can and when you want to, and you showed up tonight. So I really, really appreciate that. I really, really do, because it is hard for me, because I could have given up when things went terribly wrong here. But they've been telling me for a few months now. They have been telling me. And I keep thinking, I've just put it off for another few months. I just put it off for another few months. But nothing, since COVID, nothing seems to have flowed as well as what it used to. And the numbers are down. I'm not saying that the numbers, you know, I'm not been dipping in my pocket yet. But I know that it would have only got worse, because Spirit wants to move me on now. And do you know what? It's best to go out with your flags flying and a smile on your face, but with your heart open, than to go out on my knees. So that's why it's happening now. But that's why it hurts as well, because, you know, it's really hard, and I'm not giving in. I'm just giving it over to others that will do. But there's other centres around, there's churches around, and they can all give you a little bit of something that you need or that you want. So thank you so much for listening, because my aim is to help as many people as I can, and I feel I've achieved that.
On behalf of Monday Dish and myself, I'd like to thank Lynda for all the unconditional love she's provided. Well over 3,000 people, 3,000 appearances that people have made over the 10-year period of she's been operating. And everybody that's been here must have left with a little bit more spiritual support and encouragement when they came in.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I've got 3 vases at home that are empty. So they're all going to go in the bath. No, not now. Yeah, isn't it lucky? Thank you. Thank you Angie and Peter. And Andy, thank you so much. Now, we have some money to give out. On social media, there's a mutual friend of ours, Richard. Richard does a TV program on social media, and it's to help. There's chats on there. There's also they do free readings, and it's been quite successful. And Richard, who co-owns it, has been at the time was dipping in his hand in his pocket to make it work with the equipment, and he had no money. He couldn't continue it, and it was helping lots of people. So he put this out on Facebook like an SOS for help. And for me, the money that comes in here, it sits, and I wait until it's the right time and the right person to give the money to. And we have given to animal charities with air ambulance. We've given to lots of things, but I felt that this was very needed. So I would like to offer a very large, substantial amount to yourself on behalf of Richard. Is that okay? Let's just sort out. Somebody just take some photos, please. Thank you. Oh, and Angie, I'll get Angie. Oh,
You've got them.
Angie. Thank you, Angie. Thank you. Because behind the curtain here, I have a very large cheque. So I would like to hand to Richard, but to Nick on behalf of Lynda Oldham Spiritual Centre, which is money that we've taken from you from the door, and donations. So these are things, this is where your money goes, and it's to help lots of people. So, and this is going to help, even though I've helped Richard with the equipment, it's going to help so many people. And it would have collapsed if it wasn't for this money. So, thank you. Have we got this on the TV?
Yeah, it's I think it's, yeah, we can just, that's it there. Yeah,
Lovely,
yeah,
beautiful.
there.
So this, you can't cash this in though.
No,
Right.
no. Well, you can do the proper one with Richard and
All right. Yes, I will do. So if I let you explain that, because you.
Yes.
All right.
I'll put that on the chair. So.
All right. Thank you. Right. Yeah.
Thank you. So, talking about mutual friends, yes, indeed. I, as well as being the front man at Littleport Spiritualist Church and the Independent Spiritualist Alliance, around about a year ago this month, I started helping out with SPTV UK. SPTV is Spiritual Psychics TV UK. It's a social media and online channel. There is a website, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, and much like yourself, it tries to provide spirituality, a little bit of education, upliftment, philosophy, messages, and it's all free if you want it to be free. You can pay to become a VIP, which is something like 37 pence a week or like that. No, it's down actually, it's 33p a week. To to help support it, but it's all on donation and help, but it costs a lot to run. And Richard had, for a number of years, been dipping into his pocket to keep it going. And there's like something like 20,000 followers on it now. But as we all know, there is always only a few who will dip their hands in the pockets unless something really goes wrong. Well, a number of months ago, something did go wrong because the graphics card, I believe, blew up. And we were having to say goodbye to SPTV. And this is a channel that, you know, I am a co-host with on a show on a Monday at 11 with a lady in Australia called Lynda. Lovely medium. She gave me a message from my dad this morning while we was getting ready to come online. But there is things online every day. Whilst we've been speaking, I believe it's Thursday night, so Bill Hughes would have been on doing his collective consciousness. There is something on every single day. There's usually stuff in the morning, but there's always something in the evening. Free messages. They don't charge people to watch. It's all basically donations and voluntary. And so therefore, when things go wrong, the cost is quite painful and quite personal. And so Richard did put out an SOS, and many people came together and raised funds. Many people donated, and SPTV was saved. And this lovely young lady came forward with this on your behalf and ensured the continuation and growth of a channel that is designed to do exactly what you do. Come together in spirituality, keeping the costs down for the people that need it the most, and continually progressing the word of spirit, and in different ways of thinking too. There are people on there that agree with me. There are people on there that disagree with me, and we have a good old chat about it, and it makes for a good conversation. And that's what spirituality is all about. So on behalf of Richard and on behalf of all of us hosts at SPTV, thank you all for ensuring that there is a channel out there that costs nothing for you if you don't wanna, that you can continue to dip in and out and get your spiritual contact pretty much any given moment of the day, really. And it does mean a lot, because the SPTV family reminds me very much of this church. It's a family, and that matters. It reminds me of Little Port, it reminds me of here, and SPTV is a community. And I know this because I know that there are a number of people in the room tonight who actually watch a lot. You know, and in actual fact, there's somebody sitting over there who lives a lot closer than I do. We actually met through SPTV. I did a workshop with Dawn Collinson Quarry, didn't I? And you signed up, and that's where we met. And do you know what? I don't think there's been more than 24 hours where we haven't been in touch very often anyway, is there? And that's what SPTV does. It brings people together and it builds communities. So you...
As an SPTV member, I just want to thank you for allowing SPTV to continue for people like you that need it, take the time and need it most.
Amen to that. Thank you. Because I didn't know how I was going to finish it, if the honest truth. So thank you. You've done it for me. That is what SPTV does. That's what you do. And yes, there is a video, if you look back in the browser history, of this young lady with her crystal healing bowls, because Richard got very frustrated because the frequency wasn't working with my microphone very well. But thank you on behalf of us all at SPTV. Thank you all. Thank you. And on behalf of the viewers, thank you. God bless you all. And thank you so much. And just for reference, I don't get paid either. So thank you. No, I mean SPTV. I donate my time. No, I donate my time for SPTV. So all of the presenters don't get paid either. It's not a money getting game. It's for people like yourselves who want it. So well done to you all. Thank you.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Get your ticket too. It's prize winning time. Oh, hello. Off to the kitchen. Well done, Bob. I'll turn the computer off now. I better give them grab the camera, give them a close in. See how many people are still with us. Well, hello, it's me again. Bit of a close up here, and I can't actually see it because I've got the wrong glasses on. I hope you've had a good evening. Does everybody want to say hello to everyone online? All right. Oh, here we go. That's a challenge. So I'm going to turn the camera around after 3, and you can all give a big whoop, 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 so that everyone at home can see what's been going on. So after 3, 1, 2, 3. So for everybody here to everybody there, good night and God bless you all.